Morning, everybody. Welcome to the opening bell. This is Ashley Reeve here, guys. It is a brand new trading week. It is the 22nd of September. Man, we're running through this specific month very quickly as well. Phenomenal push in September from different currencies, commodities. We're obviously going to get into it. Remember, when we discuss the information that I've just mentioned in the video, please remember it's opinion and should not be construed as advice in any way. And I mean, that's just a very important note for everybody that is tuning in live, but to everybody that will be tuning in a little bit later on. A very good morning to you as well. But let's get into the markets here this morning, or at least a market open for the new trading week. Yeah. When we look at the markets this morning, there's a lot of reactions to last week's data. And the central bank moves. You saw the dollar cut that interest rate, which we've been anticipating for some time. We've been mentioning it. It's not something brand new to you guys. You guys have been with us. And so those central bank moves obviously has had a reaction. But the focus now shifts to fresh economic reports and central bank commentary that will guide where currencies, commodities, and equities would go next. So maybe starting off with the Australian dollar there. The Reserve Bank says that the economy is holding up better than expected. Inflation is moving toward its between 2 and 3% target. The rates have already been cut this year, but whether more cuts could come will depend on inflation data. All right. So traders, please watch the PMI today, as well as the CPI on Wednesday. And if inflation stays high, further cuts could be delayed. Although Aussie is under pressure, though, falling for a fourth day as the US dollar gains strength against it. So you can check out the Aussie, or at least the AUD USD. I'll quickly pop that up for you as we start this week out here. There's the AUD USD. We're checking it out on a daily and a weekly frame just to engage the overall more dominant market. And you can see right here from that zone to that zone over there, that's a very strong support that's given us quite a bit of a lift. But there's also momentum that's being stalled here. You can see that specific zone. There's a bit of cut of, or at least a slowdown of momentum. And due to that, we're now seeing price actually come a little bit down here. And we're seeing a stronger dollar than at the start of this week. But remember, guys, the dollar index is at the 97-point area. And what's going to be key for us is to watch that on a weekly and a monthly frame. That's the daily, the week and the daily on the dollar index. And that is still bearish. All right. So this is a temporal push to the downside because we're seeing the Aussie still push to the upside. We're going to see and watch if it does come back to the areas where we once were. We had initially thought that we're pushing down from the 64 down to 63, 62 and 63. But it looks like we are only correcting to go further up now. So let's see it as time goes on. I think that rate cut is going to give us some more insight into whether we extend to the downside. But you can clearly see that at this point in time, if you look at it from a much larger time frame perspective, these two candles are going to be key for us looking at the Aussie. The guys can check it out. This is the key area here. And if we do come below, it will probably just be to that support again. Also, check out the New Zealand dollar and the US this morning, guys. It's looking pretty bearish here. We are seeing that the economy is struggling with weak growth and a wider trade deficit. Markets expect the Reserve Bank of New Zealand to cut its rates in October. That's obviously next month, needless to say. Possibly 25 basis points with a small chance of 50 basis points. That's 0.5%. The Kiwi dollar hit a 2-week low, also weighed down by that US dollar strength. And that is starting it off in this week. But you can see where I've actually blotted out the pinnacle of that trend, or at least the movement from the support up to that area. This is where the momentum actually broke. And we've been seeing the structure come down very nicely, creating that channel to the downside here. So we are pretty bearish at this point. There's many traders that will obviously from a much longer term term and time frame perspective, I beg your pardon, mentioned that this is a pullback that is happening here to possibly extend further up there with the New Zealand dollar. But guys, the economy is not doing well at this point in time, and we're seeing from much higher time frame perspective. That is what we are looking to trade right there. That's what we're looking to trade. But if you look at the bigger picture, it's actually very bearish. This big channel, this large extended channel here, is what traders should be focusing on. All right, that's going to be very, very, very important. All right, so check it out. That's the Kiwi dollar. I'm seeing some of the guys on the chat there. Jules, I see Ona King. There we go. Thank you very much. Good to be back. What a pleasure. You guys know, as it always is. Yeah, big pleasure, big pleasure. And so, guys, check out then the Japanese yen if you'd like to as well. It did weaken, past or at least to the 148 per dollar. The Bank of Japan left its rates unchanged, but hinted at reducing its asset support. And investors await then the Japanese PMI and Tokyo inflation data later this week. But if I can give you some insight on the USD JPY, we are seeing a US dollar recover from a beating. Once over here, twice here, we saw a bit of a recovery. So we're currently working in that same area. We're trying to recover, all right, now to the upside. And if we do break past this specific zone here, we are anticipating more upside. But remember, this has to also then move with the US dollar itself. We're not just assuming that if it breaks above the 150, we're going all the way up to the 157, although that would be fantastic. But we have to look at the fundamentals, then obviously mixed with the technicals. And at this point in time, there's a recovery happening in this block, possibly up to that level. And if it breaks past the 150 zone, then it means we are moving into the larger frame now. This is the shorter frame that you'll find on the 8-hour time frame. There it is right there. This is the recovery taking place. Great support here. And if we do break up here, then obviously we will then push up to the specific 150. All right, so just check it out. That's the USD JPY. And then obviously, guys, I cannot omit the Euro USD for some of the guys that are liking it. We'll be in the gold and the silver later this week, as well as the crypto. We're just doing a bit of currency check here this morning. All right, so if you do look at the Euro USD, the higher time frames, it's pretty clear. We are definitely from this impulse here and that support, there's definitely a lot of push to the upside. We had our first pause in the market, euro coming down, correction, creating the higher low, and more long term, you can see we've now created the second one. So this is a break off structure. And so we are now looking to see a short-term move on the shorter time frames, possibly pushing to the downside. All right, listen to the words, possibly pushing to the downside. We need to have further follow through past the trend line here if you're a technical trader, as well as past the support area 117.271. I have a minute 12 support as well as a H1 support mapped out right here. If it breaks those two areas here, I'm following it to the daily support down at 116. Not a big width here between 117 and 116 if you look at it from an exchange rate perspective. But obviously, if you are trading the way we are, you put a lot of volume on there, you can make quite a bit of cash just from that distance to that distance. This is 121 pips to the downside, and that could be quite a bit. If you're trading one standard lot, you're getting $10 a pip, guys. That's quite a bit of cash there, all right? So you can walk away easily with 1,100 US dollars and even more. If you're doing $10 a pip, or if you're doing 0.10, which is volumes in mini lots, then you are doing $1 per pip. All right, so that's $110 if you're doing 0.10. If you're doing a standard launch, you can easily walk away with 1,100 or USD there. But again, there are different traders, different account balances, different I'll say risk appetite. That's the right word. Risk appetite. And so what's important is for you to interrogate and analyze what is your risk sentiment. And guys, as you do know, we are the recognized, and we are the award-winning broker with the greatest education resource. And if you want to join, obviously, you guys know that we do these live streams here. We have our advanced sessions as well. So you want to, maybe just dig into some of that. And then obviously put some time in. All right, but that's it for this morning, guys. Just a quick update there on the currencies. One of those is the index from the Australian economy. It says that it's actually been boosted by the gold and the uranium stocks. That's the reason for the rebound. And so we want to try and see what that does later today. I know I did mention it, but we want to try and see what's going to happen at this 8773. So uranium stocks, gold stock companies within the AUS 200 or the ASX 200 index from the Australian economy We are engaging to see what the company, what the business is like there, all right? And don't forget those interest rate cuts in the Australian economy. Don't forget them, guys. They play pivot points within the analysis process that you have, all right? So make sure you check it out. Let's see if it breaks above 8886, and then we'll check back in, all right? We have a much shorter week this week, guys. Wednesday, public holiday. So make sure you get in with all our opening bells, all our live streams to engage opportunities, all right? What a great time to be back again via Donkey. Aaron, I see you there. Lapo, I see you there. Everybody that's tuning in a little bit later on, once again, what a pleasure. What a blessing. And then, guys, remember, if you'd like to open up that account with us, very easy, www.tdmarkets.com. You can also email us at care@tdmarkets.com. Obviously, your account manager can assist you if you'd like to get into some of those sessions as well. Don't forget those one-on-ones. They're there. It's systemized, it's systematic, it's pragmatic, and we have everything covered that you guys need. All right. Have a fantastic one. A great start to the week. Ashley Reeve here, and I'm signing out. Ciao, ciao.